After a strange first day of the second week of the Overwatch League, Day 2 returned with a much higher level of quality, excitement, and a few surprises. With that, let's get right into this review of this historic day. The day kicked off with the competitive contest between the Atlanta Reign and the Toronto Defiant. Both expansion teams had an impressive week 1 and were looking for a result here to solidify their Overwatch League caliber. The early stages of the series went in favour of Toronto, who utilised better ultimate management and aggressive engagements on the 3-3 composition to get the better of the Reign. Defran, in particular, severely struggled, with his gravitons being eaten by envy often, as he too regularly telegraphed when he wished to use them. Dogman played impressively when he was brought in the second and final games, with his high-risk, high-reward playstyle. The series was tied 1-1 at half-time. The second half of this series burst into life on Horizon, where the Reign ran Defran on Bastion, and later Nala on Mei in a defensive composition that helped to slow down the 3-3 composition of the Defiant. However, after the first round of attacks ended, the 3-3 compositions on attack took over the game, but after a second overtime battle, edged the way of Atlanta 6-4. By the final map of the series, Toronto looked burnt out, as the Reign controlled and dominated on their 3-3 composition, completing the map before stalling Toronto's offense to convincingly take the map, and thus the series 3-1. The New York Excelsior played the LA Valiant, for who Custer returned for half of the maps, in an intriguing game which jumped back and forth in an incredibly entertaining series. The two individual matchups that defined this match were the Diva contest between Meko and Space, and the Zenyatta duel between Jonak and Izayaki. The Valiant came out of the gates recognising New York's play around Jonak, and Izayaki had a standout series as he largely played at Jonak's level and at times even rose above him, as like Game 1 the two teams went into the half at one map apiece. New York's 3-3 composition still didn't look as refined as other top teams, but it is made up for by individual players' skill, which was clear in their strong Map 2 victory over LA. Yet the Valiant came right back to completely shut down the multiple DPS attack of the Excelsior on Volskaya. Map 4 on Rialto could have gone either way had Meko not come up clutch on the final push, the Diva bomb that got New York the point that took us to Game 5. In the end, the ultimate management and engagements of New York just proved too big of a hurdle to climb for the Valiant, who fell to a 3-2 defeat for the second time, and remained winless despite playing very well as a unit in both series. Game 3 once again saw the Shanghai Dragons, on their 43rd attempt, look to gain their first victory over the Boston Uprising. The Dragons received a major boost as the series began, as we discovered that Fusions would not be playing for Boston, leaving Axiom to play the main tank. Axiom himself struggled significantly against Gamsu, who looked to exploit the weakness of Boston that was now presented, and both him and Ding on Sombra took over the series. Shanghai convincingly reached the break at a 2-0 lead, and the anticipation was building with the Dragons on the precipice of history. It came down to the final push to capture the first point on the horizon for victory, with it in its second overtime period. Shanghai picked up the first kill, and moments later, history was made, as they took the first point and guaranteed the victory that ended up being 3-1. After so long, Shanghai finally had their moment, which for all fans, including some of Boston's, brought out a year-long weight of emotion and finally put to rest the losing streak jokes and memes. With the emotions still running high, the Houston Outlaws looked to pick up their first victory of the 2019 season over the red-hot Hangzhou Spark in the final game of the day. As the series began, it became apparent that the Spark was struggling against the Sombra being played by Dante, which itself was allowing Spree and Muma to play more aggressively and take better engagements. Against both the Sombra and the 3-3 composition of the Outlaws, Hangzhou struggled to take the initiative with their engagements, and their tank line, which had been their strength in their previous victories, were unable to have the same impact of last week. Rhea on Diva was on occasion able to pick up some signature bomb highlights, but these were copied by Spree, and Muma's Shatters won multiple teamfights on their own. Although they eventually lost the final map, the Houston Outlaws picked up the 3-1 victory and took the fire out of the Sparks' great start. Looking at my predictions, like yesterday, I again went even with 2 results right out of 4. The scorelines will show you that the first 2 games went pretty much how I expected, but it was the last 2 where I underestimated the eventual winners. Shanghai played brilliantly and capitalised on a Boston side without its star main tank, whilst the Outlaws implemented a clever game plan to weaken the tank's effectiveness of the Spark, whilst giving more freedom to their own. As we move into the weekend, we can hopefully look forward to another exciting round of matches, starting with my game of the week as the LA Gladiators take on the Paris Eternal. This is followed by the now fascinating series between the Philadelphia Fusion and the Dallas Fuel. The Vancouver Titans look to once again exhibit their quality against the invigorated Guangzhou Charge, before the Chengdu Hunters face the Florida Mayhem in what should be a very fun game. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Expect more reviews in the coming days before my power rankings at the beginning of next week. Also, check out my Shanghai Dragons homage, which I'll link down below in the description, and like and subscribe for more Overwatch League content moving forward.